They say that money can't buy happiness, but if you have enough of it, you can at least buy a jet ski. Money is power and there's no way around that. That's why the rich people try to earn even more of it. They never seem to be satisfied with what they have already achieved. But hey, who can blame them? When you have money, life just seems to get easier, doesn't it? But how can you join their ranks? The truth is that most of them got there thanks to the internet. These days, it's one of the best ways to make money. So if you want to rub shoulders with the rich, you need to follow these steps. Step 1. Master the art of selling. Selling is something that comes naturally to some men. If you know how to sell, you're already halfway there. You could sell virtually anything, including timeshares in Florida. Nowadays, selling is mainly done online, but this new environment brings a ton of challenges. For starters, you have to learn how to write sales copy. Just because you can talk well doesn't mean you can write well. And with writing, there are virtually no second chances. A bad sentence here or there won't stop your potential customers from swiping away and reading the next sales letter. It's not just about writing skills. The competition is fierce and you'll need a bit of creativity. If you want to stand out from the crowd, that's why many turn to social media platforms to promote themselves. A good strategy will take you far, but you also need to be creative when it comes to getting people's attention. Step number 2, understand what makes the world go round. You see, business is all about numbers. You have expenses over here, income over there. In order to succeed, you need to find the perfect balance between the two. You also need to understand how everything works if you want to scale. Without proper organization, your business might end up drowning in its own success. The same thing happens with your personal life. Ask any successful man and he'll tell you that organization is key. This isn't just about being neat and tidy. It's about understanding your goals and priorities. Sure, you might get a few raised eyebrows from people when they see you with a planner, but you'll thank yourself later. Planners are great for staying on track, but you don't necessarily need one. There are plenty of apps out there that can do the trick. Step 3, become a jack of all trades. Nowadays, it seems like everyone wants to be a specialist. People will spend years studying just one subject, but that's not the path to success. Specialists are great at what they do, but that doesn't mean they have more opportunities than generalists. In fact, they usually have less opportunities. We live in a world where changes happen at lightning speed, and being a specialist will limit your ability to adapt. On top of that, specialists often get pigeonholed. Once people see you as a certain type of expert, it'll be hard to break out of that niche. Becoming a jack of all trades will open many doors for you. Of course, you'll still need to specialize at one point, but you should do that once you have a decent amount of experience. Step number 4, be where the money is. If you want to make money, you need to go where the money is. Think about it. Why do you think so many people move to Los Angeles? Because they want to be close to the film industry. Same goes for New York City and Wall Street. Even Miami has become quite a hub for international banking. Of course, moving across the country isn't exactly convenient, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Even if you stay in your hometown, you can still find areas with more financial opportunities. For example, you could move to a nicer neighborhood where wealthy people live. You'll be surrounded by money even if you don't leave your front door. And let's not forget that nice neighborhoods usually have good schools. That means that you'll be raising your real estate value while also giving your children a better chance at life. It's a win-win situation. Step 5, embrace the grind. Many people have a distorted view of how rich people got that way. They think that it was all luck. Well, there may be some truth to that, but luck only smiles upon those who work hard. The truth is that most of those so-called lucky people were simply grinding in the background. They were working hard on their craft while others were sleeping. By the time everyone noticed their work, they had already spent years in the shadows. That's why it's important to ignore the naysayers and keep your head down. Don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. It's a recipe for disaster. Everyone is on their own journey, and you have no idea how long they've been at it. Step number 6, have a plan B. A plan B would only make plan A less likely to work. This is probably the hardest thing to hear, but it's also the most important. As hard as it may be, you need to remove all safety nets. Don't ask your parents for money every month. Don't rely on government benefits. And most importantly, don't have a backup plan. Having a plan B would only make you less likely to pursue your dreams. Listen, we all have bills to pay and mouths to feed. But if you really want to make it big, you need to focus on your primary goal. Too many people try to chase the rabbits and end up catching none. Once you've made your plan work, you can start thinking about other things. Step number 7, learn how to invest. Now that you finally made some money, You don't want to waste it, right? That's why you need to learn how to invest. Unfortunately, school doesn't teach us that. Most of us learn our investment strategies the hard way. You don't want to end up in that group. Take some time to learn how the market works. It's not that complicated once you get the hang of it. You don't even need a lot of money to start. You can begin with index funds and ETFs, then slowly work your way up. It's also important to diversify your portfolio. Putting all your eggs in one basket is a good way to get nothing. Remember, investing is all about the long game. It's not like gambling where you put everything on red and hope for the best. With investing, you need to have patience and stay smart. Step 8. Keep learning even after you've made it big. You shouldn't stop learning. As we've said before, the world is constantly changing and you need to be able to adapt. That's why some of the most successful people spend at least 1 hour a day reading books. Some of them even listen to audio versions while driving or working out. Learning will not only keep you sharp, but it'll also make you a more interesting conversationalist. Most people stop reading once they finish school, and it shows. They have nothing interesting to contribute during discussions, and that doesn't make them very interesting to be around. Besides, when you stop learning, you stop growing. And we all know that growth is important, especially if you want to keep making progress. Step number 9. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Your circle should consist of people who push you to be a better man. Look at the men you hang out with. Are they ambitious? Do they share your values? If the answer is no, then it might be time to change your circle. Spending time with negative people will only bring you down. They'll remind you of all the reasons why you can't do something. Some friends might even feel threatened by your success. That's why it's important to surround yourself with people who support you. Now, this doesn't mean that you should ditch your old friends. If they're good people, then it's okay to keep hanging out with them on occasion. Just make sure that your main circle consists of men who are working towards their goals. Step number 10. Out of your comfort zone. If you really want to achieve something, you'll need to get uncomfortable. Most people are scared of leaving their comfort zone, but that's where all the magic happens. It's like that old saying goes, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. And that doesn't sound like a recipe for success, does it? Getting out of your comfort zone will put you on the path to greatness. It'll help you become a better version of yourself. Listen, becoming a wealthy man takes time and effort. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You need to put in the work if you want to reap the rewards. But don't worry, brother, everything will fall into place. Just trust the process. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love. Until next time.